Yeah, so in my experience in developing leaders, I've kind of come to realize it's very much a two-way street. You as the person in charge of these your subordinates, essentially, you have to. Your biggest goal is to be as empathetic as possible. You're always putting yourself in their shoes, always trying to realize that, okay, I'm making them do this. Is this something I would make myself do? Is that fair to ask of your followers? That's fair to ask of your subordinates. And on the flip side of the coin, you realize that not everyone is the perfect, going to be the perfect leader. And I say that because you need a followership mentality first, a follower first mentality, where you can not necessarily follow a leader without question, but follow them and understand what their goals are and respect their authority in the sense that what they're telling you is rational, right? And being able to differentiate between an irrational leader, someone who's just making you do things for no real reason or doing it for personal gain, and someone who's truly there for the end cause. Myself, in my experience being a glider instructor, I've instructed a number of students over the years. I've been lucky enough to have all my students pass the glider pilot scholarship, which is a grueling experience for a young teenager around 14, 15, 16 years old is the age that we take these students. It's an extremely challenging age to be just thrust into the position where you're going to fly an aircraft. And we do it in 6 weeks, which is, a very condensed period. You're flying half the day for 6 hours, doing school for 6 hours. To do that in the summertime isn't, necessarily so enjoyable. But the people who really succeed there, the people who do the best in flight training, are the people who can see the end goal, they realize the potential, and they ruck up and they really listen to what their leaders are telling them, what their instructors are telling them. They're the ones who really succeed. The ones who typically fail off course, we have about a 25% attrition rate on a summer-to-summer basis. That's our average. And the people that fall in that 25% wouldn't necessarily be bad pilots. They wouldn't necessarily be dangerous or anything like that. They could probably do the license in a wider period of time, but the skills they lack is just their listening, and their followership mentality just isn't there. They just don't respect that doing exactly what their instructor tells them, or putting their nose to the grindstone, as it were, is going to get them to the end of the course and realize their end goal. And those people kind of become disillusioned, and they say, okay, maybe it's not for me, etc., etc. But really, if they put their failures behind them and they continue on, and they always look forward, those are the people that do the best. It's the people who can handle a little bit of failure, look at what needs to be done, ask what needs to be fixed, and go out and fix it, instead of those who will dwell on what's happened in the past and lose sight of what's really important for them. Those are the people who are setting themselves up for becoming leaders in aviation, as opposed to the people who have become followers in aviation.